evening. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor, and it's currently just a minute or so after 7 o'clock on Tuesday, June the 2nd. And I'm here today to touch base on the events, do a daily recap of events that affect the way you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Now, we start every day. Well, before we even do that, let me let you know what the thought for today is. COVID vaccine. Okay. Would you take it? And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But again, we start the day, as we do all the time, is just touching base on the current confirmed cases of COVID, just to see where things are, because that's the main thing that's been affecting the country since March, at least. Should have been affecting it since January, but for some reason we're a little late to the game. So right now there's over 1,800,000 cases right now. Okay. That's up 23,000 cases from yesterday. The deaths right now in this country, 106,000 deaths. 106,000 people have died so far from COVID, basically in just the last 12 weeks or so. Okay. That's an increase of another 1,200 or so since yesterday. New York still has the biggest number of cases right now. They're number one for some reason. They've been number one. Just the population density and the diversity they have in that city is just phenomenal, and the state is just phenomenal. Right now, they have over 373,000 cases. Okay, they're up 1,300 cases since yesterday. Their deaths right now in New York State are 29,900. Okay, that's 135 overnight. 135 people died overnight, and they were getting about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. They had a couple of days when they were under 100. Which was rather impressive. They lost that pretty quickly, though. Don't know exactly what's going on. Okay, New Jersey still has the second number of highest cases right now, 161,000 cases. They picked up another 627 or so since yesterday. Their death rate, though, number of deaths are currently 11,771. So since yesterday, only an additional 48 people have died in New Jersey State, which is relatively impressive. They had an unhappy weekend. I'm not certain if it was a counting situation or what was happening, some type of reporting situation, but they're back down right now to under, again, 48 people that died overnight, which is a really big plus for them. Rounds out the top 10 here with Illinois is number 3. Okay, California coming in at number 4. Massachusetts is at number 5. Pennsylvania is at number 6, and lo and behold, I just got an email about 10 minutes ago. Today's the second is a primary voting day right now. And Dr. Terry and I dropped off our ballots yesterday. We took the puppy in the car with us, drove over, and dropped the ballots off. There's a big line of cars there, which is really, really interesting. We just parked and walked over and dropped them off. But after we got back, got an email saying they pushed they've increased by 5 the number of places you can drop off your ballots at, which was nice. And today, again, about 10 minutes ago, I got an email saying it's okay for mail-in ballots. They've extended the time as long as they're postmarked as of today, which doesn't do much good because it's hard to postmark it after 7 o'clock, basically. But this is sort of different because Pennsylvania is one of the states where they didn't care about your postmark. They had to physically receive the ballot before they closed the polls, basically. So that was sort of strange. So I'm glad they opened that up a little bit. But again, Pennsylvania is number 6. Number 7 is Texas, the highest number of cases. Michigan is number 8. Number 9 is Florida. And again, round out the top 10 with Maryland, who remains number 10. Now, the death rates have been slowing up in New York and New Jersey. I don't know what's going on with New York. Again, for a little while, at least 2 or 3 days, they were under 100, which is pretty impressive. They were thrilled to death with that, but they're back up right now. New Jersey has cut theirs again, well under 100, which is a nice thing for them. Okay. People are still dying, though. Okay. A lot of things are going on in the country right now. People are still dying from COVID, though, and they're not having a good time. And it's still exceptionally infectious. There's still people wearing masks. There's still people in the front lines that they're trying to treat these people, and you end up on a ventilator, and these people are stuck in a hospital and they die by themselves. And it's not pleasant for them. It's not pleasant for the families that can't, be with their loved ones. A lot of things are going on. Anyway, even with all that happening, okay, all 50 states have reopened to some degree. Again, 1 or 2 states didn't even close down anything at all. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And there's still no treatment, and there's still no vaccine this year. Okay. And we'll get into it a little bit. But it's based on your experience as to how things go with the whole COVID situation and the masks and the social distancing. If you're in a state where almost nothing going on, your numbers are really low, okay, this is just, piece of newsprint to you, no big deal. Okay. If you, however, are working on ICU or CCU in New York State or Maryland, okay, or Massachusetts, COVID's a real big deal to you because people are dying on your shifts. And again, it's the experience that is a major thing. And the East Coast got hit the worst. East and West Coast got hit the worst. Center of the country, not so much. Excuse me. And the meat packers, again, they got hit pretty badly. They're required to stay open. And again, everybody wants their burgers and ham and hot dogs. That's great. And their chicken wings. But these meat packers, they set up these industries in small towns. It's generally the only employer in the town. It's the main employer in the town anyway. And these people have been hit pretty hard when 15, 20% of the workforce is infected. Think about that for a second. If you went into work and you're working pretty much shoulder to shoulder with somebody else, and 15% of your staff is infected with COVID, how happy you've been, how happy you feel going to work. You're required to go to work, and you're taking your life in your hands, and you're not getting paid tons of money for this. And the PPE is just not there. The masks are not there. And the companies can try and do some things, but it's just the nature of the business that you're working so much on top of one another that it's hard not to get infected in those type of settings. So anyway, that really brings me to the thought for today. COVID vaccine, would you take it? Now, you already know, okay, there's no treatment for COVID. There's no vaccine for COVID. Not that people aren't, all around the world aren't trying to find them, okay? And you've even seen the president pushing untested drugs, hoping that, they would work. However, a major study in the Lancet, it's a major medical publication that ran for years, exceptionally respected, okay, ended up showing that particular drug, hydroxychloroquine, was actually dangerous and increased the chance for life-threatening cardiac arrhythmias over 400% for people who didn't take it at all. So I ran across this article in Washington Post this morning. It was a Washington Post ABC news poll that they did. Just came out this morning. And it was concerned COVID vaccine. And it said about 7 in 10 Americans said that they would get a vaccine to protect against coronavirus if the immunizations were free and available to everyone. Well, that's interesting. 7 to 10 Americans said they'd take the vaccine. Now, the nationwide survey found that a majority of people of all political affiliations interested in receiving such a vaccine. Okay, but the extent of the interest varied a lot along partisan lines, with slightly more than 8 in 10 Democrats saying that they definitely or probably would get vaccinated, compared with slightly fewer than 6 out of 10 Republicans. And independents fell somewhere in between. Now, the poll also showed that Americans' eagerness to get vaccinated was heavily tied to the depth of their fear about being infected with this potentially lethal virus. Over 63% said that they are very or somewhat worried that they or a member of their immediate family might catch the virus, and 35% that said that they were less worried. But among those who were worried, okay, 81% said they're likely to get vaccinated compared to 52% of those who said they're not worried at all. Now, the finding that 71% of Americans are interested in getting a coronavirus vaccine emerged just as President Trump established a goal for 1 million doses to be available by the end of the year, even though such a vaccine, okay, does not even exist. Many scientists have said such an ambitious timeline, okay, is really, really unrealistic. Okay, these are guys who do this for a living. They've been around, they've been in the industry. Okay, to come up with a vaccine in less than a year, this is not the movies, folks. Okay, this is real life, and testing needs to get done after they come up with something. But still, researchers in the United States and other countries are racing, trying to develop, some type of safe and effective vaccine. Okay, something that would be widely available, okay, to the world populations, okay, to help to develop an immunity against this virus that has already killed 106,000 people so far to date. Okay, and it's caused in the U.S. a major, major economic damage as communities are shut down. Okay, and they're trying to slow the spread, but it's been a disaster, without a doubt, in the world. Okay, the economic situation has been ugly. Now, right now, 2 federal efforts are trained on a vaccine to protect against coronavirus. The National Health Institute last month launched a public and private collaboration called Accelerated COVID-19 Therapeutic Interventions and Vaccines, which includes pharmaceutical companies and government agencies and partners in Europe. Okay. Meanwhile, the White House announced Operation Warp Speed. Okay, they're very good at naming things. Again, the president, whether you like him or don't like him, doesn't really matter too much, but he's got a big TV background, obviously. Reality show guy. And he understands the media really, really well. And he's good at naming stuff. Operation Warp Speed. It's a good name. Okay. Led by a former head of a vaccine development at a pharmaceutical giant, GlaxoSmithKline, along with the commander of the U.S. Army Materiel Command, and managed the supply chain and logistics for the Army. Now, the polls finding also shows that Trump supporters, okay, mostly in the Republican Party, obviously, are really less enthusiastic about embracing a vaccine than are Democratic supporters. Okay. One person said, I couldn't live with myself if I brought it into the house, said Maria Martin. She's a 35-year-old. She's a Democrat who lives in South Riding, Virginia. She said she's very worried about becoming infected. She's married with 3 kids. She's the main caretaker there for her parents. 70-year-old father is on kidney dialysis. 73-year-old mother has thyroid problems and early dementia. Okay. They both have diabetes and high blood pressure. Okay. These people are at risk. Now, because I take care of my parents, I'm the one who drives. I'm the one who takes care of the medicines. And I wouldn't want to put them in that kind of predicament. Okay, is what she said. And that's why if there was a vaccine, and I know it would prevent the COVID, and it would be very important to me to protect their well-being. For now, she just wears a mask and gloves whenever she goes out. And when she comes home, okay, she takes off her shoes, takes them off outside, tells everybody in the family to go scatter someplace else, go to your bedrooms, and she takes a shower. Her husband, who's a landscaper, he decided to stop working for a few weeks this spring as some of his coworkers were infected. He knew morally he couldn't fathom the idea of getting infected and bringing it home and everyone else coming down with him. Okay, so if there were a universally available vaccine, it was free. Okay, Martin said obviously we'd have to check on how effective and efficient it definitely was and check on the secondary effects. If all that was everything seemed okay, she'd probably get it. On the other hand, Ellis Williams of Tampa said the virus is very, very low on his concerns. After 20 years in the military, I tend not to get any shots. Okay. Right now, Williams is working in car sales after retiring from the Air Force 2 years ago. Now, Williams is 42, said, mostly, I'm not in a demographic of those at risk. If I was elderly or something like that, definitely over 60, I'd be interested. But I don't have any pre-existing conditions or comorbidities, okay? So it's really not a concern for me. Now, Tampa, where he is a county with only about 2,200 cases so far of COVID. Okay, according to Johns Hopkins researchers, is where I get my numbers at anyway. Okay, and it's where they got them for this study also. But Williams said, I don't know that anybody who's gotten it in my circle of friends or associates. He doesn't even know anyone who knows anyone who's been infected. So for him, it's just statistics on the internet. The poll found that 15% say they definitely get vaccinated. They definitely will not get vaccinated against the virus, even if it's available for free to everyone. Among Republicans, 24% hold the same view. Of all those who said they would definitely or probably not get vaccinated, half of them said that that's because they don't trust vaccines in general to begin with. Nearly 1/4 said that it's not necessary in this instance. So the poll shows that, the age, race, ethnicity also play into the attitudes concerning the coronavirus. The percentage saying they will definitely get a vaccine if it's free and available is highest among both young and older adults. 55% of adults under age 30 and 51% of those 65 and older. Now, Hispanics are most interested in the vaccine, with 78% saying they'd likely be able to get one, okay, compared with 70% of whites and 63% of Black Americans. So there you have it. Okay. There are people interested in taking the vaccine once one is developed. It's basically the same group of people that have firsthand knowledge and experience with COVID. Now, they may have a family member, a friend, a coworker that's been infected at some point, maybe in their job, and maybe at an at-risk type of a job, maybe a cashier or somebody who deals with the public, okay? Or they work on the front lines treating COVID patients. Now, it's not surprising if you've been personally unaffected and live and work in an area where COVID is currently rare, okay, then you have very understandably very little interest in taking a vaccine for something that you don't see as a problem. If you're willing to understand the very, very simple, basic fact that our opinions are based on our education, what we read, and our experiences, it really helps to explain just about everything in life. Okay, just think about that for a second. Okay, if you do, you'll find it explains about everything, about every confrontation you've ever experienced in your life, from when you were a little kid and your parents told you no. Outside of the fact that, they're really responsible for your safety and well-being, they had a set of experiences that you didn't have when they told you not to run in the street or not to touch the stove. You've got those experiences now, and you take care of your kids the same way. Your kid doesn't have the experiences. So he has no idea what the hell you're talking about. Why can't I run and play in the street? Why can't I touch a stove? Until they get the experience, it doesn't come to them. They deny it actually exists. What a surprise. Or when they were told that you should drink and drive. Or when the first boss told you, to do this job a certain way because they already knew that if you did it a different way, it was going to take longer, it was going to cost more, and not get the same result that you got hired to get. Now, today, there are protests in the streets. All over the country, protests in the streets. Now, people went absolutely crazy when Colin Kaepernick took a knee in protest. He had a set of experiences that all the people complaining didn't have and didn't understand. Yes, there are riots in the street right now. Did anyone bother to ask why? Okay. Could it have something to do with the experiences of the Black Americans getting killed in police custody for a number of years now? Even if, before they got the police custody, way back when, they ended up getting lynched before they got arrested? Okay. You think that might be an experience that they have, was passed through the generations that you're not familiar with? Of course, if you don't personally know anyone in that situation, it's just like the COVID vaccine or wearing a mask. If you personally don't have the experience, it's sort of difficult, if not impossible, for you to understand. And instead of taking the time and emotionally draining effort for some self-reflection, which people hate to do, okay, it's just easier just to dismiss the entire thing. Okay, they're just a bunch of thugs. Well, the same thing has happened for years, okay, with income inequality. This country has been off the wall basically since Reagan took office. The major gap in income inequality started after Reagan took office. Now, if you're at the top 1 or 2%, you don't have the same experience of knowing that it's difficult to save more than $100,000 for retirement. Okay, a lot of people are having a hard time, a really, really hard time, saving more than $20,000. And by the time they're age 50 plus, they really have a very short window of time that they can do anything that's going to make any substantial difference. And with the current economic situation, it hasn't made it any easier for them folks either. Okay, so if your retirement plans got wrecked this year and you'd like to get your life back under control, get your money and your life back under control, it may not be too late to put your retirement plans back together and get on track and have the cash flow to retire with the lifestyle you actually want and deserve somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, go to drrousenow.com. It's a website that I have. There's a video there. See if I can help you. I don't know that I can, but check out the video and see if I can help. It explains the program. Okay. Again, I'm Dr. Fred Rouse. I'm the Real Money Doctor. My only goal is to help you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. Now, I appreciate you spending some time with me. I appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you. I look forward to, again, to seeing you tomorrow around 7 o'clock or so. I'll post this video on my YouTube channel, The Real Money Doctor, tomorrow morning sometime. And I look forward to seeing you again around 7 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you.